And hello and good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is David Boles. This is David Boles Live, streaming to you each weekday on your favorite live streaming platform. We are currently live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Have a big busy day in store for us today based on yesterday. Very exciting. As you can tell, our music sounds great. So this is what happened yesterday with our music stream. As you know, I'm obsessed with having a little bit of a music bed, as they call it in the radio biz, underneath our conversation here, because it covers external sounds, it sets the mood. Sometimes it's a little bit loud. And if the music is ever a little bit too loud, say something in chat and I'll fix it. So yesterday was the debut of our brand new music stream called Slip Stream. As you know, we had previously been using Pretzel Rocks and Monster Cat. And Pretzel Rocks and Monster Cat allow you to buy a subscription that allows you to stream their music, stream only, I've learned, on YouTube and Twitch, but not Facebook. They could not clear the rights for Facebook for whatever reason. I don't really understand it. So, with the discovery last week of Slipstream, last Friday, I think, after we were off air, I discovered a whole new world of streaming music. And Slipstream has 50,000 songs that, if you have a commercial license, you can stream for, not free, but with a proper license, a DMCA cleared license for Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and actually any other place. And if you have a commercial license, you can use their music in your advertising, on your webpage, in your podcast, anywhere online. You can embed and use their music. Wildly wonderful. Their music is very superb compared to the other streaming services I've used and checked out. And the most important thing is the ease of use and the fact that it is melodic. It kind of jumps in and out. You can hear it jumping in and out, but that's kind of normal when you're streaming. Yesterday we had a unreasonable tick, 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 tick. Anything I played, there was a tick. So I was trying to figure out what in the world happened. So when you troubleshoot these kind of things, you have to go back in time a little bit. So I said, what was new yesterday? What was different that we added yesterday? And what I learned when I tried to check everything was that we had a new camera. We had new music. We had FFZ emotes. So all of those things, I was thinking, well, I can't imagine how any of them would cause a ticking sound on the audio track. Didn't make sense. And we had been streaming for 4 weeks without one kind of problem. It's very bizarre. And then if you remember in yesterday's stream, I had a remote camera that I introduced to you, which was my iPhone. And I showed you around the rest of the office. So I thought, well, that was new. That had some software. So I checked into it and I found out that, remember, I told you the one problem I had with that streaming iPhone camera was I could get no sound out of it. It's just audio. Not even audio, it's just video only, not audio at all. So I thought, well, that's strange. How could no audio be putting a ticking sound in my broadcast? So I did a little checking, and I saw deep in the guts of my streaming software and my audio setup that the microphone for that remote software that was enabling my iPhone to become a second camera was set full, And I guess the system was trying to ping, P-I-N-G, my phone to say, why was there no audio coming out of it? So that was that with that ticking, tick, 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 that we had yesterday. So I turned everything off, removed that audio source, and tested it all yesterday afternoon or all yesterday night. And now we are tick-free. I'm very happy to report. So, this is what we're using right now for our music. This is the website for Slipstream. And their web address is wild. It's slip.stream. So forget .com, .net. We are now in the world of the .stream. And it's going really well. So this is their website. Then there's also an add-in, a widget kind of alternate thing that I use in Slobs, Streamlabs OBS for Mac, that allows this to play to you. But the most impressive thing is you go down here to genres, and I think we're playing the jazz genre right now. Okay, why is genres not playing? Oh, I have to close this, I guess. Different than inside the app. So you have ambient music, you have blues music, which is what I was trying to play for you yesterday. It was very beautiful, but it didn't work out. I had to turn it off. You have Latin, you have pop, you get live help. So let's say you want to play some ambient music. I think we're playing smooth jazz right now. And let's say you're going to play this moody drone music, right? Then you can filter the tracks. And because of what we're doing here with our streaming, vocals, you don't want any. You only want instrumental. So you pick instrumental, and then it loads all your music. And then it just plays. You just click play and it plays for itself, plays itself. It's very nice, it's very slick. So that's Slipstream. Check them out. You can buy a couple of different licenses depending on your needs. They also have a free tier service, but in my experience, the free stuff is never as good as the stuff you pay for, especially if you need a license to protect yourself from getting DMCA'd or sued or whatever people like to do to people who are online. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in regards to Facebook. So yesterday was a big day for subscriptions on this live stream, so I'm very grateful. If you're new here, you can always say hi in chat. We have the wonderful O'Neill clan coming to us today. Signed up yesterday from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Kathy, Sir Willie, and the always lovely Kendra Sue. So we're very happy to have you with us. And we're here to help, and we're here to explore what it means to live a human life. Jana Marie is coming up later in this session. Very, very, very interesting tutorial for you today. Around 10:30 New York time, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from now. She's going to be sharing with you New York specific signs. Now, if you go on a place like YouTube and you do a search for New York signs and ASL, you're going to find a lot of junk and stuff that is not valid, stuff that is made up, stuff that is not signed correctly. So, if you're a student of American Sign Language or a student of anything and you're going online to YouTube trying to learn what you missed in class or trying to add to what you already know, how do you know if what you're watching is good or not? You don't know. That's the problem. You have to have a trusted, verifiable source of information. And that's hard to find, especially if you're new to learning and you're new to college or you're new to high school. You don't know who you can trust online, if they're teaching you the right signs or not. And we watched a couple of videos about New York signs on YouTube last night, and they were all awful. 90% wrong in the signs. So we said, hey, let's do it right. We've lived here for 33 years. We're going crazy, trying to get good, not crazy, but fun. Fun kind of crazy. Oh, my laptop is talking to me. A good kind of fun. So let's do it right. Let's set the standard that is reasonable. You've been teaching American Sign Language, January, for 25 years in New York City. You know the signs, you know the city, you know what's out there on YouTube and how terrible it is. So let's do it right. So that is what we're doing today. And I've seen parts of it. It's very interesting. You're going to love it. And then at the end, January will join us again, and we are going to appear on screen for the first time together in the same room, in the same place. And we're going to do a little something for you. Surprise, I'm not telling you what it might be. So we always talk about our GoPro, which is our movable camera. We used it for a streaming camera. It overheated, stopped working. Then we used it to film a couple of sign language lessons, but getting the information off the GoPro and uploading it and then downloading it and then editing it, very troublesome. So I'm trying to give in to what the GoPro is, and it is a mobile camera for shooting action sequences. But to do it right, you just can't use the GoPro. You have to buy a lot of accessories. So I showed you my chest strap, I showed you the lights. Well, today I'm going to show you a couple of other things that go. So this, if you can remember, this is the Nemesis, the GoPro Hero 10, the number one top camera now. Because if you're going to buy a new camera, why would you buy something that's old? Unless you're just junking it around or throwing it off cliffs or something. So this housing that you see is new. It's on the GoPro. It's called the Media Mod. Okay? I turn it on over here. I used to turn it on here, which is the record button. So I would inadvertently be recording things and taking pictures of things, thinking, why isn't this staying on? Okay, now we know. So we push the side button here, which I'm pushing with my thumb. All right, that's on. Okay. Now, this Media Mod allows you to have this windscreen that protects your microphone when you're outside in wind. It allows you to attach, if you want to, this little extra light, which sometimes you need if you're out in the world. And it's turned on now. Okay, that's very bright. I'll turn that off now because we don't want to blind you. And then my most favorite thing is this thing up here. Right? This is a monitor. Now, January says when she's filming these things, she wants to see herself on camera. And when I was doing my live stream, I wanted to see myself on camera. Because right now, there's no camera. I'm just looking into a lens to say hello to you. And that's what this thing is. Okay? But it's tiny. So if you're a little far away, you really can't see if you're in the frame or not. Plus, it's a square. Whereas this is actually what you're actually seeing, which is more of a rectangle. So they offer this little thing via the Media Mod that has its own battery that you have to charge, but it's a monitor. And when you turn on the monitor, it turns the back screen off. But if you're in front of the camera, you can now see yourself as in a rectangle. Right? Very slick. So if you're performing or you're doing an exercise video that you're recording and you want to say, hey, how am I doing? Can people see me? Now you know, right here with the camera. And when you're not using it, it flips back this way. But if you're in front of the camera and you want to see exactly who you are and what you look like, this is it. That's what it looks like. So we're slowly beginning to love our GoPro Hero 10, but it is costing us a lot of money in accessories. And here's my latest accessory. I'm turning this off now. It's going to beep, so you'll know what it means. Okay, so it's turning off, turning down, including our little new screen. Okay, and then I better turn it off because it's telling me it's on. So if you want to be mobile and take video, you have a chest strap. So if you're walking around, you can take video that way. Or, I also got this. This goes over your head. All right, so you put this on like this, right? Okay. The camera attaches here. Okay. You can have a hat on or whatever. And now you have a camera. Without the media mod on, it screws in here. So you have a camera here. Now you look stupid, but if you want to do an exercise video with point of view, or if you want to look around with point of view, this is absolutely perfect. I can't wait to use this and put it on and do something. Take a little walk. I might jiggle around a little. Maybe a walk is better with the chest strap here. I don't know. You could have the chest strap and this, go back and forth. Or if you had two GoPros, which I'm sure they would want, you could film both of them at the same time and intercut them. So this is my latest doodad, which is the head strap. It also comes with a clip that you can clip on the back of your hat and take video that way. So we have lots of interesting plans. Will any of them work out? Who knows? We are always hopeful as we move forward in this world and try to make sense of it. Now, if you type exclamation point and then type quote in our chat, you get a lovely quote. The process of writing is the foundation of creation. I wrote that. I put it in the quote. It's fun. Now I'm going to tell you about, we talked about how anytime a guy gets something that is called a toy, not a tool. I don't have toys. I only have tools. I'm going to share with you my latest tool that arrived yesterday. You remember a couple of weeks ago I showed you my knife collection and told you how to stay out of danger? And basically, if you are faced with someone who has a knife, you run the other way. And if someone has a gun and you're trapped, you charge the gun. Meaning you go after the person and you grab hold of that gun and you point it away from your body. Now that was a long tutorial, so just take that with a grain of salt. But when I showed you my knife collection, I showed you lots of different brands and variations. The Shirogorov is my favorite knife, but I have a lot of other nice Benchmade Golds. Benchmade Valet is my #1 top knife. But I also showed you some of my tactical knives. And one of them was SOG, S-O-G. And this is what it looks like. I have several of these. You can see it's very well worn. I use my knives. And these are tactical knives, meaning that you use them in the field, not necessarily for self-defense or defense or offense, but for survival, if you have to cut a tree, or if you have to puncture a lid, a metal lid. This is a very good knife to have. It's very strong, it's very efficient. Brand SOG. And it locks and it unlocks, pulling this down, folding, and it goes back to itself. So SOG is not just a knife manufacturer. They have a long list, a big line of defensive, tactical products that they sell. And one of the favorite ones that I've had of theirs over the years are their flashlights. I wouldn't think a flashlight is necessarily tactical, but just wait. I have one of these in a smaller size that got lost. I don't know where it is, but I now have this one, which is better. This is a flashlight, and you can see it's very tiny. Fits in the palm of your hand. 4 ounces, 247 lumens, which is very bright. This is the SOG Dark Energy DE Dark Energy -02. I had the 03, which ran on AA batteries. And it was smaller than this. But it didn't hold a charge very long. The batteries wore out rather quickly. And it takes different kinds of batteries. It takes this, the 123 lithium battery. 2 of these jam in there. So I was putting in the batteries yesterday, and I made the mistake of turning it on and looking like this. 247 lumens right in your eye. There was a little bit of temporary blindness, I would say. It was not enjoyable, slightly painful. But the end, turn on, you press it. You can press it just lightly, and it will stay on. But if you push it all the way in, it'll click. Okay, that's the click. So now it's on 100%. You can be scary. You can light up dark corners. You cannot focus this light. Some of the big tactical flashlights you can focus. This one you don't focus. This is just the light. And this is at 100%. Okay. Now you click it again, and it goes off. Turn it on. Now you halfway press in. It's a rubberized button. You halfway press in. And now it's at 50%. And you halfway press again, and it becomes a strobe light. Now, don't look at this if you have epileptic seizures or if you're triggered by flashing lights, okay? Now, here's another little tip. If you happen to have someone in your life who is deaf, and you happen to go to that person and say, hey, look at my new flashlight. If I flash this light at you, would it get your attention? My advice to you is don't flash a flashlight, your flashing light, in anybody's eye. Especially a deaf person's eye that you've known for 33 years. It's not going to turn out well for you. But this is a great signaler. If you just turn on a little bit, right? You can get someone's attention. Hey, come over here. This is a flashing light. And flashlights of this size are very valuable if you want to look into dark places, dark holes, like your mouth. If you have something with your tooth. It's burning in the video, but you can see in the back. If you have private parts, problems down there, can't see, flashlight like this helps a lot. And the most in it is metal, anodized, very heavy. The one thing that I've noticed that I did not notice all these years I've had this flashlight is that it is tactical in that the front lens hood has these scallops, okay, all around. I thought, oh, isn't that a neat design? Well, you could use it for, digging a hole, I guess, if you were so inclined. But in reading the instructions for the first time over 20 years, I realized these scallops have an intention that is very dark. Dark energy, almost. And that is, you hold your flashlight like this, and it becomes a weapon. And you can dig those scallops into your skin. And it will hurt. Go in someone's eye. Twist. Remember, it's not just a flashlight. It's a tactical flashlight. So be careful of what's out there. So yesterday, we spent the day trying to get PCR tests. Because one of us, Jana Marie, or me, one of us happened to be exposed to someone who has coronavirus. This is breakthrough. These are people who are vaccinated and wear masks and still they can get sick. So we went to City MD and we went in and they said it's a 4-hour wait. We might get to you, we might not get to you. If you don't hear from us today, you're not coming in today. Well, what about tomorrow? Well, tomorrow you have to come back and sign up again. Okay. And we're looking at the place is packed with people. What was going on? And we finally realized, what's going on? Thanksgiving is coming up very soon in America, and people want to travel, and they need tests to travel. If they want to go places, if they want to go see shows, if they want to see family, if they want to travel outside the country, they have to have proof of either being vaccinated or being not positive for COVID-19. So I think that's why there's this big rush. So we found a different, smaller pharmacy that does PCR testing. And you go in there, you scan a QR code with your iPhone, brings up a sign-up sheet, you fill it out, give them your insurance information, and then they take a swab and they put it up your nose a couple of times. And you're done. You get your results in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe more, depending on how fast it is. But I saw the bag that they were putting the tests in. The bag was full. Plastic bag was full of PCR test swabs. I would say maybe 25 people. And that was early in the day yesterday. It's a lot of testing. So somebody asked me the other day, when you go out and you're with Jana and you have to wear masks, like when you're going to the doctor or the pharmacy or City MD, how do you do that? How does she read lips with masks? Well, if people are wearing a mask and she has to interact with them, she'll ask them to pull down their mask and stay far away. Or, like us, we have these special masks that I'm going to share with you right now. This is our clear mask. This is a bend shape mask. BendShapeMask.com is the website. They sell these. We've spent a lot of money buying clear masks because they're necessary and we want to feel as safe as possible. So I'll put this on and show you how it works. So this goes over your head in the back. Okay, all the way down, so it hangs down like this. Then you have another little thing here that goes over the back of your head. And you can get the ones that just go over your back of your ear, but we don't like those because they pull on your ear if you have a big head like I do, or if you're deaf and you have a hearing aid, that loop rubs on your hearing aid. So this loop goes on the back of your neck and on the back of your head. So it ruins your beautiful hairstyle, but this is the price you pay for safety. And it goes like this, and you pull this down, and you pull this up, like this. Always do the nose thing, yeah? Okay, so you can see in the back. Like that, here. Tighten it up using this. Make it tighter, make it looser, And it doesn't necessarily always fog up. This is a professional surgical mask, so it's very safe, very, very protected. But yesterday it was cold and windy, and it started icing up inside. And I asked Jana, who wears this every day, I said, how do you do this? And she said, you just wipe it off when you get back to the office. But what this allows you to do is to read lips. If you're a deaf person, you can see what's going on. And sometimes you have to speak up a little bit because it's hard to hear. But all in all, it's a very effective way to keep yourself safe from COVID-19. Bend Shape Mask. Works really, really well. They have disposable versions. They have a version where it's just this material, white material all across, which I like a lot when I'm just going by myself to the doctor because they're cheaper than the clear ones. And they're very safe, very thin. And some people reuse them, but these are the disposable ones. I think they're safer. The other ones, I guess you have to wash in a washing machine, but this you use and then you throw it away. So you're always getting a new, safer mask to use. But if you're on a budget, you can get the reusable ones. Those are fine too. Well, we've had a lovely start to our stream so far today. Now we're going to take a brief blood pressure break and come back and talk to you about some other issues dealing with COVID-19, which are kind of really fascinating. genetic stuff. And we'll do a little bit of chatting about the INTJ personality type. Look out for that one. We'll be back in a moment. And we're back. Back from break. Love the music today. This is streaming music. Made for streaming. Live shows. Sounds good. This is smooth jazz, I think is what this is called. We'll have new music every day. Sometimes different times of day we'll have music. So COVID is something we cannot escape. If you're pro-COVID, anti-COVID, COVID neutral, whatever, it's in our lives. And big news today that Pfizer has now agreed to sell their COVID pill, like Merck did a couple of weeks ago. That once you get COVID, you take this pill and you get better. So it's not a replacement for the vaccine. If you get sick, there will be a pill that will help you make you feel better. And Pfizer announced that they're going to give away that pill, basically, the ingredients, the manipulation of elements, to 95 poor countries for little to no cost so they can reproduce it and give it away for free. That's how you end a pandemic. You don't end a pandemic by the rich countries getting vaccinated. You end a pandemic by making sure that anyone in the world who has COVID can get rid of it and keep it away. So that's fantastic news. And the other bit of interesting news, it came from 23andMe in my inbox yesterday, which, if you're a research person and you're into this kind of stuff, you're going to enjoy this. And if you're not that kind of person, we're not going to be discussing it for very long, so we'll move right along. But here is the idea of 23andMe. The genetics behind the different reactions to the COVID-19 vaccines, meaning that based on your genetic makeup, your reaction can be predicted based on how you are built to how you will respond in a good way, in a bad way, in a neutral way to getting the vaccine. And this is brand new information. And it all has to do with alleles. And if you remember the O.J. Simpson murder case, there was a lot of allele talk. What is an allele? A-L-L-E-L-E. An allele is, and I'm reading this, one of two or more alternative forms of a gene that arise by mutation and are found at the same place on a chromosome. Okay, allele is what makes you up. You get it from your mother and your father. So, research has found a strong association between variations in the HLA genes, the human leukocyte antigen, HLA, human leukocyte antigen complex, which is involved in regulating immune response. These genes encode for a number of proteins that make up the major histocompatibility complex, which is on the front line of your immune system's infection recognition system. These results show that variations in the HLA complex are related to the degree in which one feels ill after a vaccine. Okay? Fancy words, meaning the way you're made up depends on how you feel after you get a shot. Now, I got both shots. I felt fantastic. I didn't feel anything. Jana got her shot. The first one was okay. The follow-up shot, she felt like she was getting pricked with needles for about 8 hours. This all has to do with your immune response and long haulers. What that means is once you get COVID, what are your effects? Heart damage, kidney damage, liver damage, organ damage. What's it going to do to you if you have COVID? Other studies have found variation among populations for other alleles with the HLA that are associated with the severity of COVID-19. So, for example, a recent study, which I'll show you, by researchers at the TCR Institute, found that an allele protective against severe COVID-19 symptoms in the HLA gene, HLA-DRB star 04:01, was found at a much higher frequency in people of Northwestern European ancestry. And if you remember the first week of this show, I showed you my 23andMe genetic report, and I am the whitest white man in the entire world. Northwestern European ancestry is where I come from. So here's the study mentioned, the influence of the HLA genotype in the severity of COVID-19 infections. And there's the abstract. And when you see something like this, if you're in school, read it all. I'm winking at you. Read it all as you scroll down all the way to the summary. This is the summary. We have provided evidence to show that HLA alleles, which we just heard about from 23andMe, may interact with patient factors to influence susceptibility to developing severe complications for COVID-19, meaning your genetics is what makes up how you're going to react. And we know that, but this explains why and how. HLA alleles associated with asymptomatic carriage of the disease are relatively common in populations of European descent based on higher latitudes. So the mountain people from way back when in Europe don't really have a negative reaction to these COVID-19 vaccines. Now, why is this interesting? I'm going to tell you why it's interesting. Because for a while, they thought that if you got the vaccine and you didn't really have a response, like you didn't get sick, you didn't feel awful, well, that means you have a weakened immune system and your system isn't fighting back. And a lot of women would have very severe reactions, not severe, but they would have reactions to getting a COVID-19 shot. And the thinking was in the medical community, oh, it's because women are superpowered. They're stronger than men. They have very, very strong immune systems because they have to protect their babies. They're in their bodies. They are genetically superior to men. That's why women tend to have a more severe reaction to a COVID-19 shot than men. Which never sounded right to me because even though I have, blood pressure and some skin cancer issues, I work out, I eat right, I exercise, and I thought the reason I was not having a reaction to the COVID-19 vaccine is because of all that stuff I do. I felt that I had pre-protected myself. Well, it turns out we don't have any say of anything. It's not about men versus women. It's not about your immune system versus my immune system because you're a female, I'm a male. It's all in the alleles. It's all in your parents, as we always know. And if you're from the European mountains of long ago, you're going to tolerate a COVID-19 vaccine better than someone from somewhere else. And it's now been proven scientifically, which is very interesting and in some ways calming because it explains why when I get these shots, nothing happens to me. I feel perfectly fine. It's all in the genetic code. Now, speaking of genetic codes, we're going to talk a little bit about personality type. Now, I'm not a believer in personality type. I'm not a believer in astrology. I'm not a believer in sun signs. And some might even argue I'm not into feelings, which I understand. Because sometimes I say things that hurt the feelings of other people. And I don't really have a reaction to that except to see that they're upset and say, oh, goodness, I made a mistake. However, I have learned, not to be manipulative, but I have learned that if I say, oh, that hurts my feelings, even though I don't know what feelings are, the person I'm saying it to says, oh, I'm sorry, and then they kind of work things out. So maybe I'm trying to figure out what these feelings things are. I'm sort of kidding about that, but in some ways I'm not. So personality type determines who you are And some of the thinking is it's all genetic. You can't pick who you are. You're born who you are to be. Some call it predestiny. Some people say a tiger can't change its stripes. Now, you can change behavior, you can change reactions, you can change how you are, but you can't really change how you're going to respond to a COVID-19 vaccine. And maybe you can't change how you respond to your feelings or the feelings of others. So I'll go to the big screen and have this chat with you. So many years ago, when I was on Team Toshiba, which I have discussed here many times, it was a support group, technical support group, online on CompuServe. And we all had our sections. There was laptops, there was networking, there was modems, there was computers, there was also a place where you could just go and chat. And the person who headed up that chat area, which was the most popular part of the whole area, was a woman online who went by the name of Madam P. MME period, capital P period. Short for Madam Predicto. And she got that nickname from the Team Toshiba gods in California because she had this knack for predicting what was going to be in the next series of laptops, even though she knew nothing about computers. It was very funny. And her real name was Joan Healy. And she's dead now. And Joan Healy did not want anybody to know in the forum that her name was Joan Healy, but privately she didn't mind. But she didn't ever want to meet you. She didn't ever want to talk to you on the phone. She was something like the head psychologist, psychiatrist at Rikers. That's a jail in New York City. Heavy duty stuff. And she had a lovely little house in Queens that she never left if she didn't have to. And she had a degenerative spine problem where she was losing mobility. So time was not on her side. She was racing against the clock to make sure that she could retire on time from Rikers with a bad back, live a life in Queens, and be okay in the end. And I believe it all worked out, but she didn't really want to stay in touch with a lot of people, which I understood and I respected. So she was about psychology and about knowing people and understanding how things worked. And she happened to send me a private message one day and said, "Hey, do you know what your personality type is?" And normally I would brush that off saying, I don't care about my personality type. I'm not that interested. But because it was Joan, it was different because you knew she had something on her mind that she wanted to share. Especially if she came to you in a private message and she brought up an issue. So she said, "Have you ever been tested?" I said, "I don't think so. I don't even know what a personality test is. Is this like a Mensa test, Genius test, a gifted test?" No, this is personality. I said, "What does that have to do with anything?" She said, "Oh, ho, ho, ho. It has everything to do with everything." So I said, "Okay, what do I do?" She said, "Well, go get a book called Please Understand Me." And I said, "Okay." So I went out and I got this book, Please Understand Me. And this is version 2. I've got the first version. And what this book does is breaks down personality types into such identifiable traits and behaviors that you cannot deny the genius behind the science of it. David Kiersey is the author. And she said, read the book, answer some of the questions, see how it shakes out for you. So because it was Joan Healy, I said, okay, I will. So I did. And the result of that personality test was I was very far into the range of the INTJ. And And this is the Keirsey website where you can get more information. Keirsey.com. So, INTJ is more commonly known as the rational mastermind. I didn't make that up. That's not my phrasing. That's David Keirsey's phrasing. And what are the types of rationals? There are 4 types. There's the field marshal, who is ENTJ. There's the mastermind, INTJ. There's the inventor, ENTP. And there's the architect, INTP. And each of these means something different. The J is judging. I remember that. So here's the portrait of the rational mastermind. We plan. We are self-confident. We are systematic. Challenges and difficulties are highly stimulating in masterminds. We thrive on confronting a problem that requires a creative solution. Very true. And it also drives other people around us crazy because we know the answer, and they aren't there yet. Utilitarian. Every plan has a purpose. Absolutely. Planning. Masterminds understand the logical consequences of each move. A lot of us are chess players. Self-confidence is the trademark of the masterminds. Decisions come easily for them. Absolutely true. We are willful. They have an unusually strong will. And they are tenacious and determined and resolute. Yeah, true. Masterminds make their best contributions with their insights and are often heralded as providing thought leadership to their various domains of influence. Here are a collection of rational masterminds. Ayn Rand, Susan B. Anthony, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates, Alan Greenspan, Dwight Eisenhower. So it's in some ways comforting knowing who you are and what you do. And in other ways it's problematic because people say, well, you're that way, but you could change if you wanted to. And it's true, you could change. But INTJs tend not to want to change because they do believe that they know what's right and the proper way to go, which comes off as impossible and arrogant to other people. So if you don't know your personality type, and there are a whole bunch of them, there's the guardian, there's the watchdog, and then you can find out your compatibility. Like 2 INTJs in the same room, lovely friendship, but asking them to work together can be difficult because they both like to take charge. One of my writers for Boles blogs, her name is Nicola, and she is an INTJ, and you recognize them immediately. And one of our things is when we are out in public, like at a restaurant, we have to have our back to the wall, and we have to be able to see the front door of the restaurant. It's just the way it is. And if you have more than one INTJ having lunch together, they're both going to sit on the same side of the table. They're not going to sit across from each other because we have to have our backs to the wall and we have to watch the door. So I joked with her and said, well, we're together, who's gonna watch the door? And she said, well, I'm going to have my back to the wall and watch the door. And I said, well, so am I. And I said, but what are we going to do? If it's a small place, how can we make this work? How can we make it fit? And she said, I don't know. And I said, well, I could sit on your lap, and then we can both have our back to the wall and watch the door. She said, well, that's the perfect solution. See, we all work it out in the end. So INTJs and a friend and a spouse need people who are very laid back, people who are very go with the flow, people who don't mind making decisions, but if you have a better idea or a better decision, you go ahead and make the decision. That's the people that we get along with the best. So that's what I do in my life. I write books, I direct plays, I produce things that I like to get started from nothing and try to accomplish something. But it can cause you some trouble because we're often not aware of feelings. Somebody say, oh, you're autistic, oh, you have Asperger's. Well, who knows? Maybe, probably not. I think we're INTJ. And the problem is, not a problem, the issue that there are about 2% of the people in the world who are INTJ, and it's a very specific thing. And some people say it's wonderful, other people say it's a curse. And some people who are INTJ say it's a curse because they feel they can't relate to people. But you also have what I call pretenders to be INTJ. A lot of people say, oh, that's me. I'm one of those too. And you know, just by interacting with them for 5 seconds, they are not INTJ. And because of who we are and what we are, we do say, you know, you're not INTJ. You think you are, but you're not. Because of just what you just typed, what you just said, that's not INTJ behavior. Not happening. Well, then they get upset with you, and how dare you tell me I'm not INTJ. So here's an article that I wrote a long time ago, 2005. This is right after the Joan Healy and I had that conversation about who we are and what INTJ means. And I told her INTJ, and she said, I know that. I wanted you to know that. And I said, well, thank you. That was a lovely gift that I don't maybe feel quite as ostracized and disconnected as I thought I was, and I am, but at least now I sort of know why. So this is my article. This is the logo I created for INTJ, which I actually like. I haven't looked at this for 15 years. I like the logo. I think it kind of makes sense in context. Explaining what it is, who we are, loyalty, we're disconnected, we don't chat, very true. A very strong moral sense of what is right and what is wrong. There's my friend Nicola, who is a co-INTJ with me. He's living in Portugal now. He used to live in the UK. Did a lot of great writing for me. And it is upon her lap that I will sit if we ever go out to lunch together. And then we have, as you can see, 538 comments. Big article, long article, a little bit of fighting. People saying, oh, I'm INTJ too. I'm part of the 2%. I'll tell you a clue right now. No true INTJ comes forward and says, hey, I'm an INTJ too. It doesn't happen. We know who we are. We don't have to self-identify in public. Well, how do people know? How do you know that you and Nicole are INTJ? How do you do it? How is it possible that you'll sit on each other's laps? How does this happen if you don't say I'm an INTJ? You don't say it. You say it to other people. And that's happened to me. I said to Nicola, I said, you're INTJ. She said, how did you know? I said, you know how I know. Just like you know I am one too. And there have been a couple of times in my professional career where I'm dealing with people, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this person's just like me, unbending, won't compromise, not necessarily thinks they know it all, but believes they know it all. And so how do you soften that up? Because remember, two INTJs in the same room don't really get along. They get along, but if you have to make decisions, there can be tension. So you immediately take the sharp edge off of that and say, I'm INTJ too. And then it's okay. Then they look at you like, okay, I get it. And then everything's fine. Then you understand each other immediately. And hey, I always lay back. I don't mind other people taking over and doing something. It was always in school, I just let people do it. But if people ask me, what do you think? Or do you want to take over? Well, then I would tell them. I'd say yes. There are some people who just want to be heard and want to do everything. That's not an INTJ. We don't take over. If we're asked to take over, we take over and we do a very good job. But we're not really into volunteering because we don't. Why volunteer? I already know I can do it. I don't have to prove it to anybody. If you want my help, ask me. But for me, it's hubristic to say, I'll take over. I know what I'm doing. I'm INTJ. I am the rational mastermind. I am the 2%. That's not how it happens. But if you recognize somebody, oh, that might be an INTJ, ask them for help, and they will help you. They will get the job done. So if you have questions about these kind of personality types, I invite you to take a look at my blog article, Mark of the INTJ Rational Mastermind. You can visit the Keirsey site. You can buy the book. I believe the book also comes with a little workbook in the back where you just kind of check things off and you know who you are and what you do. And so I'm going to leave you on this particular conversation with this. This came up about a year ago. The Grit Scale. It's a book by Angela Duckworth. And you can take this little test online, how you feel, what you do, and it will tell you how much grit you have. And grit is defined as determination to get things done and not be denied. And I have friends who are 50% of the grit scale. They're half motivated and half not motivated. Well, I took this test. And it was 100% grit, which is really great, which I'm really proud of. But you have to understand there are very few people in the world who get 100% on the grit scale. Look out for them because they're very, very determined people. So go there too, angeladuckworth.com/grit, G-R-I-T -scale, S-C-A-L-E, and take that test. And I'm pretty sure that your grit scale is going to directly compare, if not compete, with your personality type. Let me know what you think. And right now, it's time again for another blood pressure break. I'll be back with you in a moment. Oh my gosh, it's Katha! First time I felt at home. Thanks for introducing me to MBTI David. Katha, you're very welcome. And we'll talk more of this in just a moment. Back in a flash. All right, we're back from break. David Boles Live. Lovely to be with you today. And our friend Katha is here with us in chat. Maybe she's still with us, maybe she's gone. But Katha, if you have anything to share, anything else to share, please let us know in chat. And it's a little difficult because, as we described earlier, there's like a 10-second delay in what I say here before I see it live on the big TV over here, and then chat has a 2-second delay because of moderation, because of trolls we've had, so we can be a little bit slow, and that's why I often stop and take a pause just to see what's going on, see if anybody's out there with me, make sure I get caught up on what's happening with my lovely chat friends. But Kathy said in the chat, if you missed it, that she took the grit test too. Now, what was her score? She's not telling us. But I know my Katha. She was probably 100% because she's very determined. You cannot have the kind of life that she has had and the kind of success that Katha has had and not have an absolutely fantastic grit score. And because I took the test maybe a year ago or when it first came out, I was looking it up online on the Google. And I was reminded that grit really has a lot to do with sandpaper. 10, 20 pages of results about varying grits of sandpaper. I couldn't figure out the key word that would get me to the Angela Duckworth website. And I think grit scale determination, something like that, finally got me there. But I guess it's fallen out of favor a little bit. Not quite as popular as it used to be. Taking the grit scale test. So we talked about COVID-19 and genetics and research and who you are and where you're going. talked about INTJ personality tests and how that all works out and shapes who you are and how you relate to people. And oftentimes as INTJ, I'm really not aware fully of other people's hurt feelings. Because people ask me a question, what do you think of this? How do I look in this outfit? And I tell them. And usually I'm very direct. I've learned now that I'm old to be much more cutting around the corners. And people who really know me say, look, don't do that, just tell me. And those people I appreciate because I can be myself. But with new people I don't know, I try to be very careful. Because people today especially get very offended about very small things. And that's not my intent. You asked me a question, I answered the question. I don't want you to answer the question. I want you to tell me what I want to hear. Oh, well, you look great. And I have learned there is only one answer to this question. And the answer is, of course not. And the question is, do I look fat in this? Of course not. Fantastic. So regionality and purpose is sort of the theme and the topic for today. And in about 15 minutes, Jana Marie is going to be here and give you a fantastic, interesting, universal lesson in New York specific signs in ASL. But thinking about geography and intention is really interesting when you're online and when you publish online, because you tend to think geographically. Well, I'm from the Midwest. This matters. Well, I'm in New York City. This is the only thing that matters. And when you're creating content or a live stream or a blog post or a social networking update, you try to think, well, who's reading this and where are they coming from? And I guarantee you have no idea where people are coming from and who's reading it. You might have a small circle of friends, but overall, the big picture, you have no clue what's going on. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So that's why when you try to figure out, well, what should I write next? What's going to be popular? What might go viral? You can't be bothered by that. You have to do and know what you know. We just had a conversation, Jen and I said, we have holidays coming up. Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas is coming up. My own philosophy is, on those days in America, nobody's online. But when you're online with the world. So do we stream on those days? Or are we off on those days? And she said, I never really thought about it. And I said, well, I thought about it a lot over the years. And my determination is always that there might be people in America who have no one and who are looking for company and would love to join a live stream. And she said, okay, I see that. And I said, also, in other parts of the world, it's not Thanksgiving. It's a regular day. And they want entertainment. So if we're available in here, why not give it to them? Don't think specifically in terms of national holidays when you're planning your schedule, unless it's something you have to do. You're required to go do this with family or your job because there's a holiday, okay. But generally, if you're trying to have a relationship with people you don't know, I always find it's better to always be available and always be predictable and regular so people can find you. Setting up this stream, we said, what time of day should we stream? Should we stream at night? Should we stream in the afternoon, in the mornings? And there's no right answer. There are a lot fewer people online right now than there are at 7 o'clock at night. But there are also 100,000 times more people streaming at 7 o'clock at night. So you have to do what's right for you. And for us, this, 9 to 11 stream from New York City fits into our schedule. People will find us. Opposite parts of the world, our friend Katha, it's evening there for him, so we're providing evening entertainment, even though we just woke up. It's an interesting world in which we live. You can never really know who you're reaching and what effect you're having. So try to be kind and moral and competent and things might work out for you. So Facebook and Twitter really survive on advertising. And if you have a business account, they really want you to spend your money advertising on their platform. And in the past, I have spent money advertising on Facebook and Twitter, and I've written about this. $100 spent on Facebook to get new followers will get you, let's say, 100 followers, so $1 a follower. And on Twitter, spending the same $100 to try to get 100 followers will get you 2 followers. So that's like $1 million a follower on Twitter. So Facebook, for what it is, for what it was really terrific in giving you a big bang for your advertising dollar. So one of the metrics that Twitter and Facebook use to provide you with insights onto what you're doing and how people are reacting and who's following you and who's watching you is through analytics. And this is the big thing that's going on with Facebook, that they track everything you do and they write it down and they sell it to advertisers. And I'm an advertiser, so I have limited access to insights about my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Boles, and my Instagram account, which is Boles Books. And you think you're a big hotshot in New York. You think you have a lot of friends in the Midwest. When the reality of the data is going to give you a very, very different idea of who and what you are. So I'm going to show you right now who and what I am. This is my Facebook and Instagram business analytics page. And it really breaks stuff down. So on Facebook, I have about 15,000 followers, down from about 16, but that's normal over 10 years because people come and go and they kill accounts for whatever reason. Instagram, like our friend Katha, but why though? I don't know. Why am I on Instagram? Why is Katha on Instagram? We don't know. There's no reason to be on Instagram. But we're there because we have to be. So on Instagram, I only have 450 followers. I haven't been very active on Instagram, except for lately. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, Boles Books. So this is my current audience on Facebook, sorted by age and gender. Men, 68%. Women following me, 32%. Now, I find that shocking, that more men follow me on Facebook than women. On Instagram, it's even more severe, probably because I do a lot of exercise kettlebell stuff, which is a little more male-dominated on Instagram. Men, 76%. Women, 23%. The age range, shocking. I'm most popular with 25 to 34-year-olds on Facebook. How? I don't know. That's not really teaching age, but maybe those are my old students who are now a little bit older. I don't know. And in my age range, the old poops, 55 to 64, it's almost flat. Is that me or is that them? Me or them? I don't think they're really online as much. Although they say Facebook is old, but the trending here is Facebook is relatively young-ish. On Instagram, big, 34, 44, 54. My age range, small. Very small percentage. Ages 55 to 64 on Instagram. Men, 8%. Women, 3%. So worse on Facebook, 3 and 3%. That doesn't make sense to me. But here's where you really get slapped in the face. When you see the top cities. My number 1 top city on Facebook is Bangladesh. Dhaka, Bangladesh. Absolutely no clue how or why. I don't do anything specific that I'm aware of to Bangladesh, but people are interested, they're reading, they're interacting. I don't know how or why. Top cities on Instagram, India, Mumbai. Then the next two cities are on Instagram, both in Pakistan. Karachi and Lahore. Why? I don't know. Another Pakistan. Then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth city most popular. My home turf area, New York, 1%. And then we go right back to Pakistan, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Pakistan. I'm a superstar in Pakistan. I had no idea. No idea. Top cities on Instagram. Thailand. New York is third, 7%. Lincoln, Nebraska. That you would expect would maybe be number 1. It's number 3. Doesn't even appear on Facebook. And then Colombia. So, do we stream on Thanksgiving or not? Oh gosh, I don't know. We might be having turkey. Vegan turkey. Oh, I don't know. No one to watch. Oh. No one's watching us anyway. They're all in Pakistan watching, and they're not having Thanksgiving dinner probably. Now here are top countries. Here we go. This is where it gets really interesting. Pakistan, 25%. 1/4 of the people who are interacting and following me on Facebook are from Pakistan. The United States, number 1 on Instagram. United States is number 2 on Facebook. Then Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, then Germany, then the UK, Mexico, and Turkey. Absolutely no clue. Fantastic. I'm thrilled. It's news to me. It makes me wonder, well, I guess whatever I'm doing, it's doing right. It's playing somewhere. I'm not being ignored. Top countries on Instagram, United States, India, Russia. Very interesting. Well, see, that's kettlebell stuff, see? Kettlebell started in Russia, so that makes sense that there would be interest there. Brazil, and finally the UK. So those are my shocking insights on my Facebook and Instagram pages. Really, really interesting. And the potential audience, that's all advertising. Well, if you spend this amount of money, you could get people from over here. I'll show it to you. You can get people from over here to come into it. Look, your potential audience is 252 million people. Oh, just create this ad for $1,000 and we'll see what people we can get. You can get to the top cities in New York and then Houston. Look at all these American cities you could have if you only advertised with us. Top pages, very interesting, right? All this. Okay. I'm not really advertising anymore. I'm perfectly happy with 14,000 people on Facebook. Now the next step in this morass of being online are the no good doers. About every week and a half, I get something like this on my Facebook page. It looks like an official notice from Pages Community Standards. And you look at it, and it looks, oh, what is this? And you click on it, and usually I can't get through because it's already been taken down. But I click and think, what is that? And then I go on Google, and you search there like 15 links, Facebook, Community Standards, you've been ostracized, you're in trouble, we're taking down your page. And I think, gosh, that's a lot of different website URLs for the same community standards page, but they're all on Facebook. And they are. So this is what's happening. These terrible people on Facebook who are trying to steal your page. Now, I get pitches every week. We'll pay you $5,000 every 3 days if you'll just advertise these 3 articles on your Facebook verified page. Now, that never happens. I never reply. Because it's all a scam. Because what they say is, well, we have to manage your page. So you give us your login information so we can post our content, and then we'll pay you $5,000. And there are a lot of people who get stung by the lure of this money that's never there. It's all a scam because they want your page, they want your 14,000 people so they can take it over and probably sell porn. So don't ever answer, don't ever respond to that stuff because it's not true. And now they say, oh, we don't need control of your page. We'll pay you $3,000. We'll just send you the links and you post them. Well, they're links that are probably to illegal stuff, and Facebook's going to ban your page and get rid of you. So is it coming from a place of goodness? No, they want you to be banned. They want to remove your page. So I get this. Community standards you violated. I could not read this on the web because it had been deleted, but on my iPhone, on the iOS app for Facebook, I was able to click through. And I read this. Page's community standards. Your page has been detected for activity that's against the Facebook policies. You have copyright infringement. Okay, well, that can be serious. That's DMCA. We talked about that with streaming. If you think you've disabled your account by mistake, now you disabled my account, but I'm reading this, okay? First flag. We can take you through proof steps to request a review of us taking care of you. And Facebook does take down a lot of pages. So you think initially, every time this happens, oh, I'm in trouble. Now, here's where you know it's a scam. Follow the link below. The link below is page detect activity violations post reporting .co.vu. That is not a Facebook URL. You click on that, it's going to look like Facebook. They're faking you out. They're going to ask for your password. They're going to ask for your username. Probably other information. I did not click on it. And they're going to pretend they're Facebook, and they're going to steal all your information and steal your page and lock you out. If you don't confirm, our system will automatically block your Facebook account and you won't be able to use it again. Yeah. Thank you for helping to prevent service. Yeah. Best regard, comma, Facebook copyright 2021. Okay, best regard. Would be best regards. And I don't think Facebook signs their emails with copyright 2021. Don't fall for it. These are scams. And they're terrible. And they're trying to scare you. Because you have something that they want. You have a wonderful Facebook page. That's very popular in Pakistan. And now it's that time of day. Jana Marie's coming up, which means you're going to take a little break to get her going. And she's going to be teaching you some New York City specific signs. For all levels, for all introductions to the language. If you're a top person, you'll enjoy it. If you're just starting out, you'll love that too. So I'm going to get that ready. I'm going to turn down the music. I'm going to get Jana Marie all set up. And then when she's done, I'm going to come back, tell you a couple of things, and then she's going to rejoin me in this stream, and we're going to do a little thing together that I think is going to be a little bit of fun. But you'll decide that. Back in a very fast moment. And we are back from a brief little break. Thank you so much to Jana Marie for that wonderful lesson in American Sign Language. Terrific learning about all the intricate signs from New York City. And before we end today, I told you we're going to have a little bit of fun with Jana. She's going to come right back. But today, let's just review what we learned and shared with each other today. It turned out to be a show about kind of geography and genetics. We learned about alleles. We learned about COVID-19 reactions and protections based on where you came from and who you are. Regionality of Facebook and who follows you and why. And we learned about personality types that may be genetic or may be learned, but probably are a little bit above. And then we finished off with this wonderful conversation with Jana Marie, learning these signs based in New York City. Tremendous fun. And now Jana's going to come back, and we're going to finish with a little thing that we shared on Halloween. We shared our face paint, but we also shared some photographs of something interesting we did with cleansing, rejuvenating face masks that are in the design of animals. And I said, hey, next time we do this facial thing, we're going to invite you to watch this, or we'll do it here online together. And that's what we're going to do now. And Jana Marie is going to join me. We're going to put on these face masks for you for fun. There are all kinds of different face masks you find online. You can buy them. We have not tried this brand before, so it's going to be a surprise for us, as it is a surprise for you. And now, I have to get ready to bring in the Jana Marie. So I need to go back a little bit. I need to move this here so I can talk to you a little bit. And then we bring in the baby kitty, the Jana Marie. Hello. What are these? That's a shark. This is how you make a shark. In there, shark. Cute. Fun idea. Dragon. A fire-breathing dragon. Okay. Open. These will probably be very messy, but that's okay. That's why you do a live stream, so you can be messy with your beautiful Jana Marie. Oh, that looks interesting. Ooh. Now these are very slimy and very, very gooey because they have to go on your beautiful face. Oh, mine's dripping. Is there a method to the madness? Oh, these are cute. I like it already. On it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Oh, it's cold. And then you smooth it all out. Yes, very cold. Cold. Try not to get in your eye. I have a gigantic head, so I have a huge head, a big face. It doesn't fit very well. Oh, the nose. Yeah, the nose is always important. My nose is off. There it goes. Oh. That's so cute. Pause. Now, do you like your shark? The shark? Do you like? Is it appropriate? Yeah, it's cute. It's very dangerous. My dragon. Yes. Up or down? Do we like these better than the other ones before? These are better. Why? The colors. Different. Mouth. Face. Fun. Now, to leave these on for 10 to 20 minutes. And are these cleaning or are these moisturizing? Which one is it? Because they're all different. Moisturizing soft. Take it off. Your face is soft and beautiful. Nice. Skin. Moisture. Beautiful. One more big one for the camera. Hello. Well, this was fun today. And you coming back tomorrow? Maybe. I shouldn't be here tomorrow. Depending. They know about our PCR tests for coronavirus. We'll see. I feel good though. Strong, right? Yeah. Feel fine. Well, this has been our longest stream so far. 2 hours and 42 minutes. And it seems like we just started. So thank you so much for joining us today. We had wonderful fun with Jana Marie. And we appreciate you so much for being in our chat, for following us. If you have questions, find us on facebook.com/Boles. You can find us on Twitter at David Boles, Instagram, Boles Books. And if you'd like to get this wonderful shirt or this beautiful face, it's all Jana Marie. It's all JM. You can go to bolesbooks.org/merch. So let us know what you're thinking. We're here to invent. We're here to help. We're here for you. Any vocabulary questions, any sign questions you want to know, you let me know, and we'll get it done. So till tomorrow, we will see you. Thank you so much for joining us. For now, so long.